السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Amin. Amma ba'd. Inshallah, today we'll continue with our tafsir. Yesterday, Allah took a break from the story of Nabi Ibrahim on the trials he faced. And Allah tried to reinforce to us the, the assurances that when we die, we'll be raised. And that was the theme of verse 19 to 22, or is it 22? Yes, of Suratul Ankabut. Allah confirmed to us that will be raised and everybody would answer to in terms of what their footsteps of deed. Those who have done good would see it and will receive their due recompense. And those who have also done evil will also see it and will receive their due recompense. Allah today, inshallah, returns to the story of Nabi Ibrahim on the response of his people to his intellectual debate with them, with physical proofs to show that the things they worship worth nothing. And of course, the people equally responded. What did Allah say in Suratul Ankabut? Mustafa, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين كفروا بآيات الله ولقائه.
Naam. What are you reading? 23? Naam. Okay.
والذين كفروا بآيات الله ولقائه أولئك يئسوا من رحمتي وأولئك لهم عذاب أليم فما كان جواب قومي إلا أن قالوا اقتلوه أو حرقوه فأنجاه الله من النار إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون.
Now, we inadvertently left verse 23 out yesterday. Of course, it's one of the verses where Allah took a break from the general discussion of Ibrahim's trial. Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِنَا بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ وَلِقَائِهِ. Those who disbelieve in the signs of Allah, which He has shown, because Allah's signs are there for everyone to see. The morning comes and the night take over from the morning equally take over from the night, the sun, the moon, everything are signs of Allah. وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Even in ourselves we have the signs, in us. So Allah says, with all these signs, those who believe in our signs, وَلَقَائِهِ, and that will meet with Allah, أُولَٰئِكَ يَئِسُوا مِن رَحْمَتِهِ. Those ones will not take part in Allah's rahmah. They would not be covered by Allah's mercy. وَأُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. Definitely, there is a heavy punishment awaiting them. There is a serious punishment awaiting this set of people. Naam. فَمَا كَانَ جَوَابَ قَوْمِهِ.
فما كان جواب قومه إلا أن قالوا اقتلوه أو حرقوه فأنجاه الله من النار إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون.
So what was the response of Nabi Ibrahim's people to their engagement? But Allah would have it in this particular verse, because the Quran is not a storybook. So the Quran has pattern. Allah just mentioned these in a single line here, that the response of His people is for them to say, kill him or burn him alive. Then Allah says, فَأَنْجَاءُ اللَّهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. Then Allah saved him from this fire. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ. This is a sign for those who truly believe. But what happened actually? The story are very, very comprehensive in the Quran, but in other surahs. So that will be our major application today, to look at what exactly led them to give Ibrahim the response of having to kill him or having to burn. What exactly? What triggered this reaction? Is it just because he called them to Allah, come and worship Allah? Is it just that straightforward? Worship Allah. We are not worshiping. We have to burn you. No, it is not that. It's the intellectual. People hate when you are able to stand up to them, particularly when you are able to stand up to them intellectually. It pains them to the marrow. Nabi Ibrahim was able to prove to them with every kind of proofs that the sun can never be Allah, the stars can never be Allah, the moon can never be Allah, the idols that they worship can never be Allah. He did practicals with all these things. Inshallah, in Suratul Anbiya, then Suratul Al-An'am, inshallah, we are going to see Nabi Ibrahim's engagement with his people and what led them to burning him. How exactly did they prepare the fire and what happened eventually? Now, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ.
وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَكُنَّا بِهِ عَالِمِينَ.
وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ. Allah said, we have given Ibrahim the guidance. Before now, we have given him the intellectual capacity to engage. We have given him the power to discern. Before what exactly? Some Mufassirun says is before the message of Musa and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah has what? Allah has given him guidance. Allah has guided him. Allah has given him hidayah. Allah has given him his nur. Allah has given him the risala. He was discerning from the world book. And because of the discernment, he didn't worship the idols with which they worshipped. And even before, Allah has given him this mental capacity. That is one way to look at it. Before the message of Muhammad and before the message of sallallahu alaihi wasallam and before the message of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Another way to look at it is that Allah gave him discernment, like a follow-come discernment, a follow-come guidance, the ability to distinguish between wrong and right. وَكُنَّا بِهِ عَالِمِينَ. And Allah says, وَكُنَّا بِهِ عَالِمِينَ. And with this, Allah is well aware, of everything that He has done for Musa. Why is called Ali?
إذ قال لأبيه وقومه ما هذه التماثيل التي أنتم لها عاكفون.
Ibrahim asked these people, wallahi, there are children like this who won't just take anything for it on the face value. And many times their parents are put on the edge. So these people it's just for you to be able to convince these children and know that they won't just take things hook, line, and sinker. Ibrahim was somebody like this too. And he says, إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ, when he told his father, وَقَوْمِهِ, and his father's people, just like maybe they're having a town meeting. His father was one of the leaders of the community. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ. So he told his father and the people of the town, مَا هَذِهِ التَّمَاثِيلُ الَّتِي أَنْتُمْ لَهَا عَاكِفُونَ. What are these idols that you people devote your worship to, that you are devoted to? Every time you are worshiping idol, it's not just taking, it's because of this rush, because of the guidance of Allah. He wasn't just taking things because others were doing it. I'm doing it because my father was doing it. I'm doing it because my mother was doing it. I was doing it because I was born into it. No, he questioned. He said, what is these things? What are these idols that you people have decided to devote your worship, your time, and you humble yourself to? What are these things exactly? Naham?
قالوا وجدنا آباءنا لها عابدين.
They have no empirical response to give to Nabi Ibrahim. What did they say? They only said, Qalu wajadina aba'ana la'a abidin. We only met our fathers, our forefathers worshiping, and that is why we worship. This kind of words is what we hear today in our land, the Yoruba land to be specific. When you meet people doing acts of bid'ah, when you meet people doing Islam, but lacing it with shirk, and you ask them, why do you do what you do? They will tell you, these are the words, the exact words of the kuffar. If you ask somebody worshipping Obatala, or somebody worshipping Shango, or somebody worshipping Oya, out of 10, you find 9 of them say the same words. And this is the same words Muslims say today. Whereas what we should do is do things with proofs, in line with the Quran, with the Sunnah, and upon the understanding of the Salaf, the Sahabas, the Tabi'un, and those who follow them, the best generations of Muslims. But today when you meet Muslims, they will tell you, this is the way we met our fathers doing it. Why do you do Salat al-Fatih? It is the way I met my father doing it. Why do you do Wasifa? It's the way I met my father. When you ask them different questions on the reasons why they do the things they do. Why are you doing incantation? It's the way I met our fathers doing it. Why are you Kileto and Simbere? It's the way I met our fathers doing it. Why? Everything you ask them, they will say, this is the way we met our fathers doing. So that particular siga, saying words like that, is saying exactly what the kuffar of the time of Ibrahim told him. And in fact, the same thing the kuffar of Mecca told the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
قال لقد كنتم أنتم وآباؤكم في ضلال مبين.
Because of the guidance that Nabi Ibrahim came with, which Allah has guided me with, he has seen that these things have no benefit they can confer, and they have no harm they can confer. They are things that were created with the hands of those who worship them. They have no powers, they can't clean themselves up. If they pour libations on them, they'll be the one to also clean them when the place became dirty. So they have no powers at all that they can confer, but the Shaitan has made it fearsome to them. So Nabi Ibrahim told them, قال لقد كنتم أنتم وآباؤكم في الضلال المبين. Definitely you people, and he repeated it, you, لتأكيد, to reinforce it. Now you people, وآباؤكم, and your fathers, في الضلال المبين, you are on misguidance, a glaring misguidance. You are on misguidance, you are on error, a glaring one, a very, very glaring one. He told them directly at this. And of course, you can see. So when they say they did what they did to Ibrahim, there is also a reason for it. It's also because he is very vocal. He was vocal in a way that annoyed these people. He wasn't mincing words with them. So he told them, see, you guys, you are on a plain error. So this is also a lesson. That when people are bold, be ready to get the opposition. The kind of opposition bold people get, they are going to be ostracized, they are going to be dealt it. In fact, you can be imprisoned when you are very bold. But if you are bold upon something that is right, but of course you have to also be able to use your senses, you have to also be able to use your emotion. But many times, irrespective of your emotional intelligence, when you have decided to tread the path of boldness, you are going to suffer for it. You are going to be denied your rights. You are going to be punished. You are going to be ostracized. But if it is on something that is right, know that inshallah, the kudratihi, Allah will elevate you with the trials you face from those that oppose you.
قالوا أجئتنا بالحق أم أنت من اللاعبين.
So they challenged him. They said, أجئتنا بالحق. Is it this thing that you are doing? Is it true? Are you for real? أم أنت من اللاعبين. Or you are just joking around? Are you for real or you are just joking around? This thing that you are saying, is your head correct or is something wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you normal? You know, so they were engaging in this kind of direct attack, this kind of direct confrontation, has never been witnessed before. For you to call the gods we worship, you call us and you tell us that we are misguided. You call our God, you call him names. What exactly do you mean?
قال بل ربكم رب السماوات والأرض الذي فطرهن وأنا على ذلك من الشاهدين.
He didn't give them a direct response. He used rhetorics, balagha. He used it for them. So instead of giving them a direct response, he said, he now further reinforced what he was trying to say before, like a wise person that he is. He went back and he said, know that your Lord, they are not, your Lord is not the idols you worship. The very many idols, your Lord is one. The Lord who controls the activities of the heavens and earth. He owns them and he controls the activities of the heavens and earth and everything on it and everything within them. He was the one that created them. Definitely, I'm going to be a witness against you people if you decide to tread on the path of destruction with which you are treading.
وتالله لأكيدن أصنامكم بعد أن تولوا مدبرين.
Again.
وتالله لأكيدن أصنامكم بعد أن تولوا مدبرين.
Read the next verse.
فجعلهم جزازا إلا كبيرا لهم لعلهم إليه يرجعون.
Now read the next verse.
قالوا من فعل هذا بآلهتنا إنه لمن الضالين.
So, Nabi Ibrahim, he wanted to reinforce to them that the idols they worship are nothing. He wanted to tell them that the idols that they worship they can't even direct their own affairs. Talk less of the directing other people's affairs. And he swore by it. So what did he do? He practicalized it. So Ibrahim went to where they kept the idols. So there was a big one amongst them. So Nabi Ibrahim brought an axe. And he axed every other small idols that was there in that shrine. So after doing that, he now kept the axe. He now hung it on the shoulder of the bigger idol. So when he did this, they asked him, قالوا ومن على هذا بآلهتنا إنه لمن الظالمين. قال نعم read.
قالوا سمعنا فتى يذكرهم يقال له إبراهيم.
So when they came to him and they asked him, who did this to our God? Our gods. Ibrahim directed them to the bigger one. He said, ask him. I'm suspecting that it is this big one that destroyed the smaller ones. So ask him. So they now started asking. They just said they were confused. Of course, they knew that their idols had no capacity to do what Ibrahim had said they have done. Then they started saying among them that I heard that who did this? Apparently somebody saw him when he was doing what he was doing, or somebody saw him entering the shrine when he was caught. Then they said, Qalu Samina Fata Yadguruhum Yuqalu Lahu. I heard the movement, I heard the pattern. I suspect that the person that would have done this is that boy called Ibrahim. Qalu Fa'tu bihi. Anam?
قالوا فأتوا به على أعين الناس لعلهم يشهدون.
Call him before the people. Let them witness the engagement we are going to have with him, and let them witness what we would do of punishment to him. Call him to the courts of the people. Let them be witness. Let them witness where this is going to end. We would engage him. We would ask him. He would respond, and we will mete out the necessary punishment.
قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا بآلهتنا يا إبراهيم
So they told him, "Anta fa'alta hadha bihadha." Were you the one that did this to our gods, O Ibrahim? So what did he say?
قال بل فعله كبيرهم هذا فاسألوهم إن كانوا ينطقون.
So he told them, "Qala bal." No. I'm not the one that did it. Fa'alahu kabiruhum. It's the big one that did it. Hadha fas'aluhum in kanu yantikun. Ask them if they can talk. Ask them. Ask the big one and also ask the small ones that have been destroyed. At least they are gods. And God should have some level of control because they are the ones you ask for the things you need. They are the ones you seek protection for. They are the ones that will protect. So if they can protect you, they should be able to protect themselves too.
فرجعوا إلى أنفسهم فقالوا إنكم أنتم الظالمون.
So they went to themselves and they had a heart-to-heart talk. And they also admitted the fact that they are wrongdoers. They admitted the fact. They saw that, yes, apparently, they have been doing what is wrong. But admitting is not enough reasons for somebody who is bound to be doomed to accept the reality. There is nobody that would see a truth that would not know it. So when you see things like this, don't despair, oh da'i. Don't despair, oh Muslim. Don't despair, oh Sunni. That when you give people proof, you have engaged them. Look at how many debates, look at how many engagements that the people of Sunnah have had with the people of Bid'ah. Even when they see their evidence fall flat, they still maintain they are still on that path. Even when they accept that, confirm. You still see them go back to that thing. Why is that so? It's only Allah that has Hidayah. But the people of Ibrahim, they went together and they said, Innakum antumud dhalimun. Raja'u ila anfusihim. They went to themselves. Faqalu, and they said to themselves, Innakum ìwọ náà gbogbo wa alábòsí ni gbogbo wa.
ثم نكسوا على رؤوسهم لقد علمت ما هؤلاء ينطقون.
Again.
ثم نكسوا على رؤوسهم لقد علمت ما هؤلاء ينطقون.
Read this further.
قال فتعبدون من دون الله ما لا ينفعكم شيئا ولا يضركم.
Now, so their heads admitted that, of course, the gods that they worship can't talk. Then Ibrahim told them, قَالَ أَفَتَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَنْفَعُكُمْ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَضُرُّكُمْ. He told them, أَفَتَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Do you worship other things than Allah? مَا لَا يَنْفَعُكُمْ. Something that cannot benefit you at all. وَلَا يَضُرُّكُمْ. And it cannot also harm you. Do you worship things like that? أُفٍّ لَكُمْ. Shame upon you. وَلِمَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. And the things you worship besides Allah. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you have brains? Don't you think? So you worship things. And these things cannot talk. They cannot harm. They can't protect themselves. They can't harm themselves. Yes, you worship them. You worship them. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Don't you have heads? Then what did they say?
قالوا حرقوه وانصروا آلهتكم إن كنتم فاعلين.
Now, again, read the next verse.
قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم.
So they now told themselves, let us prepare the fire. Let's seek help from every source within themselves, from their God. So they sought everything. So they brought it took them days to build the fire. So they gathered sources, they dug holes, they brought in wood, very dry one. And they made the fire in some person said for days. And in fact, when they made the fire, they couldn't even near the fire. So it was more or less like they catapulted Nabi Ibrahim from where they were, from far away from the fire, and jumped in the fire. Because they didn't want the fire to fail. They wanted the fire to be able to destroy Ibrahim in the twinkling of an eye. So they made effort to make a very deep fire. And they made effort to ensure that there is no way Ibrahim can escape that fire.
وأرادوا به كيدا قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم.
Then Allah told the fire, Kuni baridan, be still, be cold, wasalaman, and be measuredly cold. Wasalaman, be peaceful. Let there be tranquility in the coldness. You know, there are different kinds of coldness. There's the coldness that will be too much in terms of the degrees. There'll be a coldness that may be too low, and there is a coldness that will just be okay and fine. So Allah told the fire to be calm on Ibrahim, to be calm. And Ibrahim came out on earth. And Allah destroyed, Allah made the plans of the adversaries of Ibrahim to come to naught. Allah destroyed their plans, and Allah disgraced them. So what does Allah say in Suratul Al-An'am on the encounter of Ibrahim with his people? Another version of the story, another angle to the story of Nabi Ibrahim. What did he say?
وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ.
Ibrahim approached his father again, Adar. أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Do you take these idols as your Lord? إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. I see you and your people as people who are misguided. I see you and upon a very glaring falsehood.
وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ.
So we showed Ibrahim, we showed him the dominion, we showed him the heaven, we showed him the earth, we showed him the signs therein. وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. So that we can make his resolve strong. We can make him have that yaqeen, have that assuredness. We can make him free of every doubt. We can reinforce his faith by the things he sees. You know, many times they say seeing is believing. If you want people to believe things faster, you show them. It's good enough to say, come and hear this, come and see. But Allah showed him the dominions of the heaven, shows him the sign. Allah around there. Allah showed him the heavens and the heart.
فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَىٰ كَوْكَبًا.
So when the night came upon him, he saw the stars. Then what did he say?
قَالَ هَٰذَا رَبِّي.
He said, definitely this is my Lord. After having engaged with his parents, with his father, with his own idol, he had no doubt that he's Allah, but he wanted to still discover Allah. Who is Allah exactly? Then he said, قَالَ هَٰذَا رَبِّي. This is my Lord. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ نَعْمَ
فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ.
So when the star vanished from the skies, he said, what kind of a Lord is this? Allah yuhibbul afilin. I don't like a Lord that is not consistent. One that will come out and again will go. I don't want that kind of life. I want a consistent Lord. My Lord will always be there for me.
فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ بَازِغًا عَلَىٰ هَٰذَا رَبِّي.
When the moon rose, when the moon came out, he said, قَالَ هَٰذَا رَبِّي. This must be my Lord.
فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَئِن لَّمْ يَهْدِنِي رَبِّي لَأَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِّينَ.
So when the moon also vanished, he said, oh Allah, لَئِن لَّمْ يَهْدِنِي, if you do not guide me, رَبِّي لَأَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِّينَ, then I will be one of those who have lost it. I will have been one of those who have been misguided. I will have been one of those who have lost the road, who have missed the road, who have missed the target. Oh Allah, I don't want to be a misguided person. I don't want to be somebody who has missed the road. I don't want to be somebody who has gone astray. Oh Allah, please guide me and show me the way.
فلما رأى شمس بازغة
Shamsa.
فلما رأى شمس بازغة قال هذا ربي هذا قال هذا ربي هذا أكبر فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون.
فلما رأى الشمس بازغة. When the sun rose too, he said, قال هذا ربي, this must be my Lord. هذا أكبر, this one is bigger than the other two. فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون. When the sun sets, he said, my people, come and listen. Inni bari'un mimma tushrikun. I am free from everything that you worship aside Allah. I'm free from the partners you take with Allah. So he said, it was his study about what was happening was very empirical. It kept asking questions. Like I mentioned a few days ago, one of a good friend, Imam Sheikh, who converted a few years ago, many of you listeners would also know him. He mentioned this, and his also engagement with his teachers in the Bible school was also very empirical. There's no wonder, of course, many of us know him by his Christian name. There's no wonder that Ibrahim is added to that name. Of course, is the way he engaged, the way he got to the truth was similar to the way Ibrahim got to the truth. He kept engaging, he kept listening, he kept finding out until guidance began to show. And wallahi, Allah guided him. May Allah keep its feet firm and ours too. Continue.
إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين.
إني وجهت وجهي. I direct my face to Allah. للذي فطر السماوات والأرض. I direct all my worship, all my act of worship. They are directed to Allah. Who created the heavens? Who created the earth? And I'm directing it in its pure form. وَمَا أَنَّا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And I'm not part for those, the polytheists. I'm not part for those who worship other than Allah.
وَحَاجَّهُ قَوْمُهُ قَالَ أَتُحَاجُّونِي فِي اللَّهِ وَقَدْ هَدَانِ.
Then the people started arguing with him. قَالَ أَتُحَاجُّونِي فِي اللَّهِ وَقَدْ هَدَانِ. Are you arguing with me? When I have proofs, when Allah has guided me, like you find a lot of misguided people who dwell in guidance, arguing with people who have proofs, who have the Dalil, who have the Quran, who have the Sunnah, and who understand the position of the Salaf, who know the understanding of the Salaf on those points. They're different. Even for somebody who just speaks the Quran, maybe he understands Arabic, but he doesn't even understand what the Sahabas understood by the meaning of the verse. They cannot lie as tawi. You cannot compare them. So people will just argue, bring a lot of things, try to use their head, they just want to argue for arguing's sake. Nobody can defeat the essence of this thing. Nobody can defeat the true people of knowledge in this thing. Definitely darkness can never overcome light. So Nabi Ibrahim has seen this in his people, and he said, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me when Allah has guided me?
وَلَا أَخَافُ مَا تُشْرِكُونَ بِهِ.
And he told them, I don't fear the things that you worship. Today, many people have quavered. Many people have shrunk. Today, many people have become cowards because they fear what people of the mushrikun, they fear what they will do to them. They fear their harm. They fear their attack. They can't stand up to them when it is necessary to stand up to them. No person of Iman will do this. You know that whatever comes to you is Allah's will. And whatever Allah wills will always happen. But nothing can happen except Allah wishes it. And of course, as a person of the Sunnah, as a person on the path of rectitude, of course, you must also do your askar. You askar in the morning, you askar in the evening, you askar ever after each salawat. And your ta'awuzat, ma'awuzatain, you must always do them. But whichever way it is, a person upon the path of rectitude should have this kind of outlook. Don't let anybody intimidate you. Insofar you know you are upon the truth, and yes, you must be able to stand by the truth and do it boldly.
ولا
إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا.
إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا.
There is nothing you can do to harm me except what Allah has willed. إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا. Except something Allah wants to happen. I do not fear you. If anything happens, it is Allah that makes it happen.
وسع ربي كل شيء علما.
The knowledge of Allah encompasses everything. So He knows everything. He knows what is within you. He knows all your plans. He knows everything. So I fear you. I don't fear you. أفلا تتذكرون.
أفلا تتذكرون.
Won't you remember? Won't you think? Won't you reflect?
وكيف أخاف ما أشركتم ولا تخافون أنكم أشركتم بالله ما لم ينزل به عليكم سلطانا.
Look at the way young Nabi Ibrahim engaged. Look at the way. This is, you can only talk like this when you have the nur of Allah with you. When you don't have the nur, you'll be afraid. When you don't have the nur, to ban soro, and the only thing that makes one have the nur is what? Is worship. Worship. Obedience. Good actions in secret and in open. Worship. Supererogatory activities. Watching what your eyes watch. Watching what your ears listen to. Watching what your mouth say. Wallahi, it will give you wisdom. It will give you wisdom, unimaginable wisdom. And it will give you a boldness, the kind of which nobody has ever witnessed. Wallahi. Wallahi, when you find yourself in a position, Nabi Ibrahim found himself, only Iman can make you stand. Only forthrightness can make you stand. Only integrity can make you stand. Wallahi, only He can make you stand against your enemy. So Ibrahim engaged them. He said, why should I fear you? Why should I fear you? Why should I fear the things that you worship? وَلَا تَكَافُونَ أَنَّكُمْ أَشْرَكْتُمْ بِاللَّهِ. And you do not fear that you seek partners with Allah. Why should I fear? مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ. From what Allah has not revealed for you to do, you have done them. You are worshiping idols when Allah has not told you to worship them. So then you want me to fear you? Alaykum sultana. Zilibihi, alaykum sultana. What Allah has not revealed, and what Allah has not made compulsory for you to do, you are doing them. Beyond what Allah has created dominion for, you are doing them. Which of the two of us, is it me that is worshiping Allah, trusting Allah, or you that is worshiping other than Allah, against the commandment of Allah? Which of us should have that peace of heart? Which of us should have that tranquility? Which of us should have that peace of mind? In kuntum ta'lamun, if only you know. So Ibrahim was so sure of his position with Allah. He was so sure of his stand with Allah. And he maintained that point. There are a lot of points of benefit in all this. It only shows us that if we are on the path, and if what we fear is truly Allah, we will fear nobody. Irrespective of what they attempt to harm us with. And if they harm us, if Allah wills, Allah will save us from their harm. If truly we believe in Allah. And even if their harm is able to get to us, just like it's able to get to some people in the past, then you should have no fear. Inshallah, Allah will admit us to Jannah. It's only Allah's will. Say that nothing would affect you except what Allah has willed. So don't fear the mushrikun. Don't fear the Ahlul Kitab. Don't fear the Orientalists. Don't fear those who are funding them. Don't fear the Munafiqun. Don't fear anybody. Fear nobody. And if you truly fear Allah, not the word truly. If you truly fear Allah, then you will fear nobody. Then let's go back to the verse we read. فَمَا كَانَ جَوَابَ قَوْمِهِ. نعم.
فما كان جواب قومه إلا أن قالوا اقتلوه أو حرقوه فأنجاه الله من النار إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون.
Now it is clear what these people were responding to. They were not just responding to his call to Tawheed. They were also responding to his boldness. They were responding to his intellect. They were responding to the way he argues and the way he brings factual points. The way he showed them the sun and the way the sun sets. the way he showed them the stars, the way he showed them the moon, the way he tried to exemplify the fact that their gods are weak, they cannot protect themselves, and they are not even capable of arming themselves, talk less of arming other people. They are also not capable of protecting themselves too. If they could not protect themselves, who can they protect? So all these things were so overwhelming to the people of Ibrahim. So they wanted to have a rest. They wanted to rest from his activities. The only way they can rest is that they kill him. They get him, they hand him. So they said, kill him, burn him. Then Allah saved him from the fire with him. This is only a sign for those who believe that Allah would always be with the truth. That Allah is the only one who can harm. That Allah can save one from unusual circumstances. What we know fire for is that fire burns. But in Allah's infinite mercy, He saved Ibrahim from fire. The way He has done for Ibrahim, He can do for you too. So if you are afraid of taking that leap to start following the Sunnah, take it today. If you are afraid, don't be afraid of everybody. Don't be afraid. Whoever the person, you should not follow somebody when the person is disobeying Allah. Be it your parent, be it a spouse, be it, you understand, everybody is under the command of Allah. Whatever you do, do it with tact, do it with wisdom, so that at the end of the day, you can even get those on the opposing side, you can get them to your side. But if you don't get them to your side, then you don't join them. Then you have to separate yourself from them within the confines of the Sharia. May Allah make this useful. We ask Allah to free everyone who is in bondage of not being able to practice religion. We ask Allah to free everyone who is in bondage of shirk, who is in the bondage of sins, who is in bondage under the authority of those who are enemies of Islam. We ask Allah to make it easy for them to be free. We ask Allah to grant them the strength to be able to do the right thing. We ask Allah to grant them the strength to be able to take the right action. We ask Allah for safety for them. We also ask Allah for safety for ourselves too. We ask Allah to provide for us from places we least expect. And we ask Allah to protect us. We ask Allah to guide us. We ask Allah to guide our tongues. We ask Allah to guide all our limbs. We ask Allah to purify our heart. We ask Allah to put light in our seeing. We ask Allah to put light in our hearing. We ask Allah to put light in our minds. We ask Allah to put light in front of us, at the back of us, and in our left, in our right, above us, below us, and all around us. We ask Allah to put light in our veins. We ask Allah to put light in our blood. We ask Allah to put light in our flesh. We ask Allah to make us people of light. In dunya wal akhirah. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.